And what we're going to teach you in this book is exactly how to get those clients on repeat. Everybody that gets into construction, when they start in this business, they start with a small little project typically, or maybe not, but they typically start with a smaller project. And then they try to figure out exactly how to get in front of, these larger opportunities. And some the ones that progress the fastest, in my opinion, are the ones that hire somebody like me as a coach so that I can teach you what to avoid along the way. But this book also does the same thing.
Welcome to the On-Site Podcast. We chat with contractors, educators, industry professionals about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's fucking get into it.
What's up? What's up? My name is Brandon. I am the #1 coach within the Elite Builder Society. We are on episode 19. It is Monday, October 20th, and I'm freaking excited because this episode is about something that I've been working on for a while. It is about my book, and my book includes all the things that you need to close more jobs. We are in the month of October, so it's kind of Christmas. If you're looking to get something, for a friend or somebody else, this would be a great purchase. $18 US. You can go buy it on Amazon, or you can go to ebsworks.com. We've got it posted in there, and there is a special offer inside the book, which we are calling the EBS Build Bot. Is our own custom GPT that you can access within the book. Once you register your book, you'll have access to this, which is incredibly powerful SOP building software that we've developed, and it's directly connected to our book. So this episode is about the book, which is called Lead, Close, Build, Repeat. I'm super excited about this. This is my first book. I've already started actually producing my second book, which I'm super excited about. And I always find, it really unique when somebody's like, hey, I wrote a book. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but why? And then when I started working down this process, so I've probably written 3 different books and published only one of them. I guess the reason the first 2 didn't get published was because I just didn't I had no real intentional need for it. There was no what the fuck am I writing a book for? Whereas in this scenario, when I started putting this book together, it was basically an extension of all of the things that, we work with our contractors on a day-to-day within the Elite Builder Society. And I just really wanted to share some of that. I wanted to put that in front of other people. There's a lot of indecisive contractors out there, unfortunately, or they've got their ego in front of them, but they still want these big ass fucking projects. They still want to win. And so I wanted to, give them just a tidbit of this information, and then also give them a tool that they could implement. And so, it's a low barrier of entry, $18 US. You can buy it on Amazon or, again, on the website at ebsworks.com. But today, this episode, we're going to dive into what this book is about. You'll notice on the cover, there is a big ass shark. And you're like, this has nothing to do with construction. It actually does. If you consider Shark Tank, I don't know if I can actually mention that, but you consider that show, those people that are on that stage are considered sharks. They're the powerful people. They're the of the world. And they're also the sometimes, and also sometimes not. There's sometimes, though, they're really good client that everybody is wishing they could get. And what we're going to teach you in this book is exactly how to get those clients on repeat. Everybody that gets into construction, when they start in this business, they start with a small little project typically, or maybe not, but they typically start with a smaller project, and then they try to figure out exactly how to get in front of, these larger opportunities. And some the ones that progress the fastest, in my opinion, are the ones that hire somebody like me as a coach so that I can teach you what to avoid along the way. But this book also does the same thing. So we have this analogy where we talk about sharks versus minnows in the book. And I just want to explain that a little bit more in detail and kind of paint this narrative so you can understand really what the book is about. But, consider minnows, smaller projects. Consider fishermen, contractors. And consider a shark fisherman, one that's fishing for sharks, one that has gone through this program, a program like ours, or, other programs with other coaches, whatever. I really believe that, incorporating a coach or a mentor, somebody that's done what you're trying to do, is really, really important. I'm not for everyone, and that's fine. But there's somebody out there for you. And so it's really important for you to find your tribe. And so imagine you're a fisherman, okay? And you're on this dock like other fishermen are. And for decades, you've been casting, and I don't know how to fish, so I'm just using the analogy. You cast, you catch a little fish, you catch a little bigger fish. Over the years, you're catching, a little bigger fish here and there, and it's a little bit bigger fish here and there, and then it's back to small fish, and super inconsistent, right? And you've been doing this for decades, just like every other fisherman, just like every other contractor. And then all of a sudden, this guy walks super confidently, walks up on the dock. He sets his chair down, and he grabs not a fishing rod, he grabs a harpoon. And he literally throws this freaking harpoon in the water and immediately catches a shark. And the other fisherman that has been catching minnows and smaller fish and medium fish for decades watches this entire thing happen right before his eyes. And he watches the shark come in and he's just sitting there in awe. And he looks at the guy and he said, dude, what the fuck? Like, how long have you been fishing for? He's like, literally, I've been fishing for about a year and a half, not that long. And the other fisherman is shocked. He's like, how is that even possible? Like, I've been doing this for over a decade. I don't know how to catch sharks. I've been trying. I've got like close a couple times, but I never just like walked up, boom, and in and out and gone. He's like, dude, I had a coach, and I incorporated a coach into my business and figured this shit out super quick, and then just refine my process and move forward. And so what we talk about in this book is really just about what it takes to acquire a shark, what it takes to get that lead, and I think a lot of contractors are naive to think that it's all these other things. It is a series of processes that have to be followed in order for the shark to actually land in your lap. And so the book is going to talk about that. It also, inside the book, every chapter has a custom prompt that we've built inside that you can just copy and paste into a custom EBS build bot. So we built a custom GPT that you can take these prompts from the book and put them into this custom platform, and it will build an SOP for every chapter for your business, specifically tailored for your business. So if you're like, oh, I want to figure out the sales process that they built inside this book, then you would be able to copy that prompt and upload it into the EBS build bot, and it would help you build an SOP that you could implement into your business right away. So there is several of these prompts throughout the book, but I'm super excited about this and excited about you. There are a few people have already got the book. This isn't necessarily our official launch. We're putting it out there right before Christmas so that people can purchase it for their friends and other people that, really want to help them grow. Our wives can purchase it for their husbands, and really we just want to help people win. That's why we are doing this. That's why the book is created. It's $18 US. You find it on Amazon or again, ebsworks.com.
What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying this episode of the On-Site Podcast. So here's the deal. We want to grow this show and we need your help. It's simple. Pay the tax, share the show. That's it. Let's get back into it.
And so I want to dive into a little bit more about the book and talk about some of the fundamental elements about lead, close, build, repeat. And what do those sections of the book mean to me? And so lead is what everybody's trying to get. And so there is a few different pillars that you can focus on in order to generate leads. Okay. There's organic, word of mouth, there is paid ads, there is networking, there is relationships. There's all different types of ways to generate leads, but the organization of how you do it is really, really important. And I want to focus on that because my superpower is sales. I believe that I'm one of the best sales coaches in this industry. I specialize in, client acquisition and getting customers. If you threw me in a room with 100 other contractors and there was one project on the table and that client was my client, I would not leave the room without that customer. Period. I just would not do it, especially if they're my type of client. I feel that I have the confidence and the skills and the tools necessary to help exceed their expectations and will acquire that person. And I want to really, help you understand what it takes to do that, what it takes to have that type of confidence. So organically, there is, a series of different things that you can implement, and too many to actually, say on this episode. But, one of the most important things to start with is relationships. You want to start really building relationships with your community, building relationships with contractors, subcontractors, suppliers, vendors, designers. Start really amplifying these relationships. And this relationship isn't like you got their business card. That's not a relationship. The relationship is that you talk to them, you go for coffee with them, you go for lunch with them, and they are always thinking about you. They're always thinking about you mindfully about how you can help them. How they can help you. And then you're also thinking about how you can help them, how you can put opportunities in front of them. Because if you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That saying really goes true in this industry. And if you have one or two relationships, that's not enough to grow your business. You need 20, 30, 50, 100 relationships that you're maintaining consistently in order to actually grow your business. And so then once you've got these relationships and these opportunities, then the next thing is you need to talk to them. And so sometimes you don't talk to them, through phone or text. Sometimes you talk to them through your social. And so if you're following them through your social platforms, this is what I talk about in the book, that you have to post content, but you have to talk to these people. And if these people are prospective customers or, connected to prospective customers, you want to share with them about how you solve problems. Your content should be about how you solve problems for people. Okay. So that you can talk to those people that are following, supporting you, and you're universally supporting them. And you talk about how you solve problems. And so when you post that content about how you solve problems, it will activate a thought process about somebody else that maybe needs a problem solved. And so then that referral, that natural referral process will exist. But in this process, you need to understand that there is, other things that are taking place. You're building out a sales process. That's how you close jobs, right? In the book, close. So you need to build out a sales process, a framework on how you navigate the clients that come through that are coming on as referrals, which we talk about in the book. And then you also need to build the project. You need to have great softwares, great programs that allow you to exceed your client's expectation and help them through that journey from beginning to end. So you need to have great software. And we talk about how to build these projects and take pride. Most of the contractors that I work with don't need to be told how to build things, okay? I'm not going to tell you how to, execute the job. You're in business. You went in business because you're confident in what you're doing. And so you don't need to be told to be who you are. There are just the business elements of your business that you need to help with so you can actually get more sharks for opportunities. And so, but there's critical software that you need to implement in order to keep up with the growth. And then the whole thing about repeat is if you exceed a client expectation, the whole process repeats itself, right? The whole process repeats itself. You get a client, you close the job, you build the project, you come back, start over, do the same thing. It's this loop. Every client actually will produce another project within 5 years. And so if you're maintaining that relationship effectively, you can actually open more doors over the next 5 years as you've built and maintained that relationship through these processes. And there's several other processes that we talk about, in our coaching and in the book as well. And so definitely I recommend that you purchase the book if you have not already. I'm super proud of it. Just getting started. Got a few other books that are kind of in the works already. And, it's a great release mechanism for me. There's a lot of work putting together a book. I'm not going to lie. It's not super, super easy. It takes a lot of focus, a lot of energy, just articulating your message so it's proper and it really delivers and is my voice. And so, I'm really proud of what we put together. But the other element to this is, organically, there is a threshold of what you can do. Okay. You can only do this to a certain level. There's a certain threshold to what is actually capable of being managed organically, and then after that, it's the incorporation of paid ads. I was never, if I'm being completely honest, I was never like fully bought into ads. Like I never fully bought into ads. And as I've been kind of navigating this journey over the past couple of years, I've learned a lot about ads. I have some of the best people surrounding me. Again, my superpower is sales, client acquisition, closing jobs. I've got an understanding of marketing. I've got an understanding of all those elements, but it's not my focus, And so what I've been doing within the Elite Builder Society is really just focusing on bringing in some of the best educators. We have over 30 different educator software providers within our community that are all hyper focused on one thing. We talk about this in the book too. Some of these different softwares, some of these different programs that we're affiliated and partnered with. But when you get through that, when you get through the organic stuff, you need to pay the ads. You need to go down the ads road. And I stand behind ads because I believe in it. I've seen it happen time and time again. I've seen it with myself too, where you can increase your ad budget. If you have your process figured out and you've got great people supporting you, you can actually just turn up the ad budget and actually convert more clients. What if a client costs you $250? It's a $10,000 project. We spend how many $250, chunks of cash would you put away for those $10,000 clients? $20,000 clients, $100,000 clients, sometimes the number changes, but there's always a cost per client, cost per acquiring a customer. And we talk about some of this stuff in the book. We talk about some of these different strategies and these different frameworks that you can, acquire through the EBS Build Bot and really tailor it to your business.
Hey, we've got an ad here. Make sure to pay attention. What's up, guys? Are you a contractor or business owner looking to take things to the next level? Well, I've got something for you. The Elite Builder Society is a community that helps contractors grow and scale. For $49 a month, you can have access to 20 group coaching calls. Look, you're probably wondering, how am I going to show up to 20 calls, Brandon? That's a lot. And yeah, it is a lot for $49 a month. But every call is recorded so you can watch it at your leisure. But you get the best experience when you're live on the call with us. Okay, at the end of every webinar, there will be a Q&A where you can ask the industry expert questions that you can implement into your business. Look, if you're ready to take things to the next level for $49 a month, go to ebsworks.com and register today. I look forward to seeing you inside the community.
You know, when I was building this book out, I thought about having a bit of a, kind of like an exercise book that would associate with the book. So you get the book, you understand, how to do these things and implement this into your business. And then you get a little bit of an exercise book. So you have some activities to do. And then I was like, you know what? AI is moving so quick. We are so in it, so fast. And, the newest version, and there may be even a new version right now in October, I don't know, version 5, I think just came out, and, it's great. It like less hallucination. It's producing better results. And so, I'm really excited about our build bot that we added. That's found on ebsworks.com. Once you purchase the book, because you have to register the book to get access to that. So you can't just get access to the custom GPT. You have to actually buy a book. Anyway, this custom GPT, we're going to incorporate the workbooklet, right, with this book, and just wasn't hitting. And so I wanted people to be able to incorporate every chapter into their business. For me, this was really important. I was trying to figure out a way to do it. And so what I did was I built a custom source file that it basically sources from the book and from lots of things that we've taught within the community. So even more than the book. So the book has, a portion of what we teach, but what we've been teaching over the past couple of years within the Elite Builder Society is far more. And so I've built that source file to be all of the information that we have access to within the Elite Builder Society, all of our programs, all of our different techniques, and it sources all of that to make a decision to help you build that SOP for that specific chapter. Each one of these chapters is a portion of something that you need within your business. And the best part is once you purchase this book, you'll have access to some future custom GPTs that we're going to be custom prompts that we're going to be sending out that only work within our custom EBS build bot. And it's free. I mean, once you buy the book, it's free. You have access to that. And we're not planning to charge for that. Everybody can build custom GPTs. It's not that hard, but this one very specifically sourced from a mountain of information that's compiled from hundreds of contractors all across North America that have dealt with the same shit that you're probably dealing with in some way, shape, or form. And so, instead of you just asking ChatGPT how to do XYZ, you can actually use this custom EBS build bot prompt platform that we've built inside of the Elite Builder Society to really help you grow. And so I'm super excited about that. And we're literally just getting started with that. So if you've not bought a book, go to Amazon or ebsworks.com, buy yourself a book or buy it for a friend. We are going to launch that probably here just before Christmas, fully launch that just before Christmas. So you're kind of like an insider on it right now. And I'm excited about it. I put a lot of work into that, and I'm just trying to help people at the end of the day. I've gone through a lot of different things, good, bad, and ugly in my business. And sometimes the lessons that you learn along the way aren't enjoyable. And a lot of them can be avoided. And it is about surrounding yourself with great people, but it's about surrounding yourself with the right people. I had different people support me in my business throughout my career. And then once I understood that there was people that specialize in something, a specific element, it was completely different. The execution of somebody that specializes in something is exponentially greater than the guy who does everything. And so we've kind of built all that. We've incorporated all that into, parts of this book as well, as the community. And so I'm confident that you'll appreciate all of this. Thank you so much for joining us today on this solo episode. It's not really like, my primary thing to do. I love having those conversations with people. We've had so many great episodes already. We're on episode 19, which is just absolutely freaking crazy. I really, really appreciate our support. You might have heard some of our ads about these different things that we're running. And so I'm not trying to bore you. I'm not trying to annoy you. I'm really just trying to provide value for you and run a business here as well. So I really appreciate your support. And I look forward to hearing your feedback on the book. And until our next episode, episode 20. I don't know exactly who our next guest is. We've got them marked in here, but anyway, it's going to be a great episode, and I really appreciate your support. Until next time, thank you so much.
All right, that concludes this episode of the On-Site Podcast. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please pay the tax, share the show. Guys, if you want to be a part of the Elite Builder Society, all you got to do is pay $49 a month. That's it. $49 a month. You get 20 group coaching calls every month. Okay? Go to ebsworks.com and register today. If you enjoyed the show, please pay the tax and share the show.